Congratulations on the purchase of your quality Cornelius swimming pool. Your Cornelius pool is designed to give you and your family many years of backyard enjoyment. We've done our part to supply you with one of the best pool kits available. Now it's up to you. Only proper installation and conscientious pool care will guarantee the trouble-free operation of your Cornelius pool. Begin by reading the instruction manual carefully and completely before starting your pool installation. If you have any questions, contact your Cornelius dealer for answers prior to beginning work. Obtain all necessary permits and check all local building codes for property line requirements, overhead wire restrictions, and fence requirements before starting pool installation. Open all parts boxes and confirm the contents, including quantities. Have all the tools and materials you'll need on hand prior to starting. When installing your pool, be sure you have adequate help, usually 3 to 4 adults. All electrical work must be performed by a qualified electrician using ground fault interrupter circuits on all outdoor receptacles. The proper location of your swimming pool is very important. First, be sure the location conforms to all local building codes as stated on your building permit. Locate and avoid tree roots, septic lines, underground cables, telephone, and utility lines. Also, choose a pool site that is convenient for swimmers' use, close to an existing patio or deck, and that will allow for future deck expansion and landscaping. Place the pool where it will receive the most amount of sunlight. The pool site should be as level as possible. Remember, soil must be removed to level the site, never build up. The ground must be firm and not recently tilled. Proper water drainage is essential. Do not position the pool on the lowest part of your yard. If possible, situate the in-wall skimmer and filter system downwind. This will help minimize debris on the water surface of your pool. Now determine the center of the pool and drive a solid stake well into the ground. Drive a nail firmly into the top of the stake. Attach your tape rule to the nail and measure out the radius of your pool, allowing an extra 6 inches for the bottom connectors. Recheck the outline pool position against your building code specifications before continuing. Using a flat shovel, completely remove the sod from the pool site. Use of a sod cutter is recommended if one is available. The center stake remains in place until the final level is complete and the bottom rail is set. Place one end of the 2x4 leveling board over the nail on the center stake, raising or lowering the other end until level. On a scratch pad, record the distance of the leveling board to the ground. Rotate the leveling board 3 feet and repeat until the lowest point in the pool site is determined. Remove soil from the higher sections of the pool site until the entire area is leveled down to the lowest point. Remove all loose soil and rake smooth. Place the bottom rails end to end around the outer edge of the pool site. Slide the bottom rails into the bottom connectors, leaving about a 3/4 inch gap between the rail ends. Measure the radius of your pool from the center stake to the inside edge of the bottom rail. Move the rail in or out to achieve the specified radius required, and place a small stake on the outside of the rail at 1 foot from either side of each bottom connector. Check the gap between the meeting ends of the rail and the bottom connectors, making adjustments by sliding the rail in the desired direction. Using the leveling board, install an 8-inch by 16-inch by 2-inch thick patio block under each bottom connector. Ensure that the connector remains centered on the block, which must be flush with the ground. Do not set the patio block on top of the ground. Always dig dirt out from under the block. Using the leveling board, make any final adjustments to the patio blocks, up or down. The pool must be level. Also, check that the bottom rails are set firmly on the ground. Make adjustments by removing high spots with a flat shovel. Unhook one bottom rail from the connectors and wheelbarrow in the proper amount of pool base. Dump the piles 3 feet inside of the bottom rail. Reconnect the missing rail and remove the center stake. Installing the pool wall on a calm day requires 3 to 4 adults to hold the wall in position until the framework is assembled. Do not attempt installing the pool wall on a windy day. Place the pool wall box on a piece of cardboard inside the site where the in-wall skimmer and filter are to be located. Be sure the arrows are pointing up and remove the box. Have the split rail tubing, the top rail, near the center of the pool area for easy access. Position one vertical upright and top connector by each bottom connector on the outside of the pool. Have duct tape, wall hardware, large Phillips screwdriver, large slotted screwdriver, and a 7/16 socket and ratchet on hand where the wall seam begins. While holding the pool wall, cut the band, being careful of springback. One person can roll out the wall, another should put the wall into the bottom track, and the third must hold the starting end of the wall until the entire wall is installed and fastened together. Start by rolling out a 5-foot section of pool wall, placing it in the bottom rail. Make sure the end of the wall is centered in the middle of the first bottom connector to the right of the in-wall skimmer location. Starting the pool here not only hides the wall seam behind a vertical upright, but also locates the skimmer and return between the next 2 adjacent vertical uprights. Place a section of top rail over the edge of the wall and secure it in the middle with a piece of duct tape. On the 5 and 7-inch and aluminum models, the split rail tubing will overlap at the ends to form a continuous rail. On the 6-inch models, the top rail will not overlap. Leave a 2-inch space between the rails and tape at the center. If the meeting ends of the wall overlap, expand the bottom rail by moving each of the small rail stakes out by 1/2 inch. From inside the pool, gently kick out the wall at each bottom connector until the bottom rail meets the repositioned stakes. Repeat if necessary, or reverse this procedure if the wall ends do not meet. Install the wall enclosure hardware by pushing the 1/4-inch bolts through all the holes from the inside. Use a washer and tighten a 1/4-inch nut to secure each hole from the outside. Remove any sharp edges on the bolt heads with a file and tape over the inside of the wall seam, making sure to cover all bolt heads. Outside the pool, check the spacing of the bottom connectors. The space between the meeting ends of the bottom rails should be equal at all the bottom connectors. To adjust, tap the bottom rail in the appropriate direction with a slotted screwdriver and hammer. Recheck to make sure each of the bottom connectors is in the middle of its block. If supplied with your pool model, the feature tape may now be applied to the vertical uprights. Install the vertical uprights by placing the end with the least amount of holes over the tabs on the bottom connector. Secure with 1/4-inch by 3/4-inch self-tapping screws. Install the top connectors by placing their tabs inside the vertical uprights and using 1/4-inch by 3/4-inch self-tapping screws in the side holes only. Do not tighten. This will help hold the wall in position during installation. Bank the pool base up and around the inner circumference, forming a cove 8 inches up the wall and 8 inches out from the bottom. Using a wood hand trowel, pack the cove tight to final dimensions of 6 inches up and 6 inches out. If the Cornelius hang bead liner is used, the final cove dimensions should be 4 inches up and 4 inches out from the bottom of the pool wall. Spread the remaining pool base around the pool bottom and pack with a tamper. The pool base should be 2 inches thick and tamped smooth. Lightly broom out any irregularities and dampen with a garden hose. From the outside of the pool, remove the skimmer and return knockouts with pliers or knife if necessary. Installing the wall saver gaskets is a very important step. Failure to install the wall saver gaskets will void all pool warranties. To separate the vinyl wall saver gaskets, grasp the outer and inner edges and peel them apart. Slip half of the large gasket through the skimmer opening. Keep one vinyl flap inside and the other outside. The welded edge of the gasket covers the metal edge of the wall. Tape the edge of the vinyl gasket to the inside of the pool wall using duct tape. To install the return opening gasket, first trim off 1/2 inch of the outer edge of the gasket, creating 2 flaps welded in the middle. Next, insert the gasket through the opening and attach as before. For either the hang bead or overlap liner, lay the unboxed vinyl out for several minutes so it becomes easier to work with. First, we'll show the installation of a hang bead liner. Before putting the liner into the pool, place the liner retainer strips onto the wall. Then add the top rail to hold the retainer in place and to make the top of the pool rigid. With an adult at each end and one in the middle, lift the liner over the pool wall, being careful not to snag it on the pool framework. Hold on to the top edge of one side of the liner bundle, allowing the other side to drop into the pool. Spread the hang bead liner out over the pool floor and insert the beaded edge of the liner into the liner retainer strip. Remove the wrinkles in the pool floor by lightly tapping the liner with a push broom, thus moving the material against the wall. The liner wall seams should be vertical and the liner floor seams should run straight across the pool bottom. Block off the outside of the skimmer opening with duct tape. Insert the vacuum hose between the inside of the pool wall and the liner. The vacuum hose must not have any sharp edges. Turn on the vacuum. In a short time, the pool liner will be drawn into the pool wall. If any liner wrinkles still exist, turn off the vacuum, readjust the liner, and repeat until wrinkle-free. Place a piece of duct tape over the threads of your garden hose to ensure against sharp edges. Fill the pool to 6 inches. Then turn the vacuum off and remove the vacuum hose. Continue to fill to 2/3 full, then turn the water off. Now for the installation of an overlap liner. Tilt the top connectors back. With 2 adults moving in opposite directions around the outside of the pool, grasp and pull 4 inches of the liner sidewall material over the top edge of the wall. Hold the liner in position with a clothespin placed every 18 inches. Continue until the entire liner is hung over the pool wall, making sure the same amount of material shows all the way around. Remove the wrinkles in the pool floor by lightly tapping the liner with a push broom as before. It moves the material against the wall. The floor wall seam should be 1 inch above the top of the pool cove. If necessary, adjust by changing the amount of material hanging over the pool sidewall. Block off the outside of the skimmer opening. Insert the vacuum hose between the inside of the pool wall and the liner. Turn on the vacuum. In a short time, the pool liner will be drawn into the pool wall. If any wrinkles still exist, turn off the vacuum, readjust the liner, and repeat until wrinkle-free. Place the inner combing around the outer edge of the pool. Starting at the liner vertical seam, remove the clothespins and 2 pieces of split rail tube, the top rail. Fold the top edge of the pool liner down 1.5 inches and place the fold over the pool wall. Secure by placing a piece of inner combing over the liner, followed by a piece of split rail or top rail. Working in a counterclockwise direction, complete hanging the liner. The split rail tubing will overlap at the ends to form a continuous rail, except on the 6-inch models where the rails slide halfway under the top connectors. Your vacuum is still running, allowing the liner to be drawn to the pool wall. Place a piece of duct tape over the threads of your garden hose to ensure against sharp edges. Fill the pool to 6 inches. Then turn the vacuum off and remove the vacuum hose. Continue to fill to 2/3 full, then turn the water off. Lay 1 top seat, inner seat cap, and outer seat cap by each upright. Tighten the 2 side screws on the top connectors and add a 1/4 by 3/4 inch self-tapping screw to the back of the 5-inch and 7-inch models and on the aluminum models. Place the top seats on top of the top connectors and secure using self-tapping screws, but do not tighten. Connect the gaps between the ends of the top seats at each top connector and adjust to make equal. Tighten the self-tapping screws. Place the inside seat cap over the top connector, making sure to cover the top seat ends and secure with self-tapping screws. On the 6-inch model, install the inside and outside seat caps before securing with self-tapping screws. Slide the outer seat cap over the inner seat cap and fasten them to the back of the vertical upright. Fill the pool 2/3 full and install the in-wall skimmer and return fitting as per manufacturer's instructions. Install the filter system as instructed and finish filling the pool. Now your pool is ready to enjoy. Remember to obey all the safety rules. Do not dive or jump into your above-ground pool. Create a safe swimming environment for your family and friends. Proper pool installation is essential to many years of maintenance-free enjoyment. When you take your time and do it right, you will ensure years of swimming pleasure in your Cornelius pool. If you have chosen an oval pool by Cornelius instead of a round one, some of the installation steps are different in the layout rough level, finish level bottom rail, and final assembly areas. Be sure to continually refer to the diagrams and charts in your installation manual as you tackle each step of your oval pool installation. Guided by the layout diagram and chart in your oval pool manual, drive in 2 stakes along the center line. The stakes must be distance A apart. Measure distance B from each stake, marking out a half circle using spray paint. Next, connect the 2 half circles. Measure an additional 32 inches outside the straight sides and mark them with spray paint. Have all the tools and materials you'll need on hand prior to starting. When installing your pool, be sure you have adequate help, usually 3 to 4 adults. All electrical work must be performed by a qualified electrician using ground fault interrupter circuits on all outdoor receptacles. The proper location of your swimming pool is very important. First, be sure the location conforms to all local building codes as stated on your building permit. Locate and avoid tree roots, septic lines, underground cables, telephone and utility lines. The pool site should be as level as possible. Remember, soil must be removed to level the site, never build up. The ground must be firm and not recently tilled. Proper water drainage is essential. Do not position your pool on the lowest part of your yard. If possible, situate the in-wall skimmer and filter system downwind. This will help minimize debris on the water surface of your pool. Remember, the 2 stakes must remain in place until the final level is complete and the bottom rail is set. Place one end of the leveling board on top of one of the stakes. Raise or lower the other end until it's level. Assemble the bottom brace and angle brace together using a 1/2 inch by 13 by 3 inch cap screw nut and washer. Attach the buttress assembly to the middle and bottom of each buttress post using a 1/4 inch by 20 by 5/8 inch machine screws, nuts, and washers. Assemble tension straps by using 1/4 inch by 20 by 3/8 inch bolts and flange washers. All screws must go in the same direction. Attach one tension strap to each buttress assembly bottom brace using 4 1/4 inch by 20 by 5/8 inch machine screws, nuts, and washers, and secure tightly. Slide the tension strap underneath the wall bearing plate. At this time, bend the tension strap at the buttress post downward. This will allow the bearing plate to sit level on the ground. Align the 4 buttress post holes with the 4 holes in the center of the bearing plate. Secure with 4 1/4 inch bolts and flange nuts. Repeat this procedure for all the bearing plates on both sides of the pool. Next, attach one buttress assembly at each joint of 2 bearing plates, using the 2 holes of each bearing plate for a total of 4 holes. Repeat for both sides of the pool. Attach the 4 remaining buttress assemblies to the end bearing plates on each side of the pool. Bend the tabs up on the bearing plate. On oval pools, there are no bottom rails on the straight sides. The pool wall is supported by the bearing plate and held by the tab. Complete all of the bottom tension straps using 1/4 inch by 20 by 5/8 inch machine screws, nuts, and washers, making sure the rounded screw head faces up. Be sure to note that screws must be used in all holes and fastened securely. All buttress post assemblies must have a bottom tension strap connecting that assembly to the corresponding assembly on the opposite side of the pool. The tension straps should lay flat on the ground. Please note, buttress posts are not the same as upright posts. Square and align the bearing plate assemblies on both sides of the pool. Make sure the oval end half circles conform to the required radius indicated in the chart. Install a patio block level with the surface of the ground under the back of each buttress assembly bottom brace. At this time, check to make sure the bottom rails and bearing plates are sitting firmly on the ground. Fasten the coupler to the outside bottom hole on each buttress assembly using 1/4 inch by 5/8 inch machine screw, nut, and washer. Hook each end of the completed half-circle bottom rails onto the coupler as shown in your installation manual. Next, put a bottom connector between each rail. Slide the bottom rails into the bottom connectors, leaving approximately a 3/4 inch gap between the meeting ends of the rails. Attach a tape measure to one of the center stakes and measure out distance B to the inside edge of the bottom rail at each bottom connector. Move the rail in or out to achieve the distance B and place a small stake outside the rail, 1 foot from the bottom connector. Rotate the tape measure to the next bottom connector and repeat. Then follow this same procedure at the opposite end of the pool. Next, place an 8 inch by 16 inch by 2 inch patio block under each bottom connector and level the block with the leveling board. The top of the patio block must be level with the surface of the ground. Again, using the leveling board, level the area along the straight sides underneath where the bearing plates and buttress assemblies will go. This area should be level with the top of the patio blocks. During final assembly, tighten the 2 side screws on the top connector. Do not add the back screw to the buttress connector until the final assembly is completed. While holding the pool wall, cut the band, being careful of springback. One person can roll out the wall, another should put the wall into the bottom track, and the third must hold the starting end of the wall until the entire wall is installed and fastened together. Start by rolling out a 5-foot section of pool wall, placing it in the bottom rail. Make sure the end of the wall is centered in the middle of the first bottom connector, to the right of the in-wall skimmer location at either oval end. Do not start on the straight side of the pool. Starting the pool here not only hides the wall seam behind a vertical upright, but also locates the skimmer and return between the next 2 adjacent vertical uprights. On the straight side of an oval pool, the pool wall sits on a bearing plate and is held in place by tabs. There is no bottom track on the straight sides of an oval pool. The buttress connectors on all models have back screws. Bank the pool base up and around the inner circumference, forming a cove 8 inches up the wall and 8 inches out from the bottom. Using a wood hand trowel, pack the cove tight to final dimensions of 6 inches up and 6 inches out. If the Cornelius hang bead liner is used, the final cove dimensions should be 4 inches up and 4 inches out from the bottom of the pool wall. Spread the remaining pool base around the pool bottom and pack with a tamper. The pool base should be 2 inches thick and tamped smooth. Lightly broom out any irregularities and dampen with a garden hose. For oval pools with optional hopper liners, straps cannot be used. Special installation instructions for hopper pools are in the liner box. Complete your oval pool installation from this point by following the remaining round pool instructions. By taking care to assemble your oval pool correctly, you are ensuring years of swimming enjoyment for your family and friends in your Cornelius pool. At Cornelius Industries Incorporated, pool safety is our #1 priority. Please allow us to take the next couple of minutes to discuss pool safety. Jumping or diving into a Cornelius pool or any above-ground pool is strictly forbidden. Post "Do not jump or dive" signs around the pool where they are visible to all pool users. Do not allow anyone into the pool unless they are fully aware of the "Do not jump or dive" signs. Never leave a child alone, out of eye contact supervision, in or near the pool, not even for a second. Young children should never be considered water safe despite their swimming skills, previous instruction, or experience. No sliding. No sliding equipment allowed. Do not swim during thunder, electrical, or windstorms. Do not allow running or horseplay around the pool. Never swim when alone, under the influence of drugs or alcohol, tired or ill. Keep the deck clean and clear of objects that may create a tripping hazard. Do not allow glass or sharp objects around the pool. Keep all electrical radios, speakers, telephones, and other electrical appliances away from the swimming pool. All electrical outlets must be a safe distance, 5 to 10 feet, from the outside perimeter of the wall of the pool. Consult your local electrical authority for local regulations or bylaws. Do not use extension cords around the pool and deck area. Access to the pool should be limited by locked doors or gates whenever swimming cannot be supervised. It is your responsibility as the owner of a Cornelius pool to ensure the safety of everyone using the pool. Make pool safety your top priority, and your Cornelius pool will be a source of fun and enjoyment for years to come.